Good morning, welcome to Tara at Home, and I'm here with Tara-Hansen-Rix from Imagine Events, and we're talking about a great event that's coming up at the end of the month, at the end of November and the beginning of December, and it's called the Urban Girls Weekend, kind of a twist on a women's show. So we are familiar with a lot of the women's shows that are out there, but you've decided that we needed something more to the concept you've come up with. So tell me what was missing.
All right, well, I felt like it needed to have a younger demographic. It needed to be edgier. It needed to attract the 25 to 45 crowd. So it's going to be licensed. It has later hours, and it's just where you can get dressed up with your friends, come out and have a really good time. You can drink. It's going to have a lot of where you can actually try demonstrations. You can get eyelash extensions right there. You can try pole dancing right there. So it's just edgier, and it's aimed towards a younger demographic.
Okay, and that makes sense, right? And again, these are the type of events that, you know, you're getting that time of season where people are also, you know, women love to do fun things for themselves, also like to look for gift ideas as we're approaching Christmas as well. And but you know, it's fun for girls just to get together and do things. Girls love doing that kind of stuff, right? Especially if you're getting into kind of a licensed event, and as you mentioned, like a lounge area. So it really can be a full fun evening, and people can plan in advance and go and hang out and have just kind of a nice different night out.
Exactly.
Right?
There's going to be a fashion show there.
Cool.
We're also supporting the Hamilton Breast Assessment Center, so everybody can buy a pink drink, and the proceeds from the pink drink go to the Breast Assessment Center.
Cool.
All the ladies that come in also get a free glass of wine when they come in.
So the second you walk through the door, this is kind of like the party starting, right?
Exactly.
That's really fun. I love that. So let's talk a little bit. It's going to be at the Merritt Hall in Ancaster, so part of the Ancaster Fairgrounds, and it's really it's all about just, you know, walking in. What are we looking at in terms of, give us an idea of some of the vendors that we're going to see?
All right, it's actually at the concession
At the concession building, okay.
So some of the vendors, we have Trend Trunk, we have Allure Fitness, who else do we have? It's hard to think off the top of my head.
I know, there's so many, right?
Exactly.
But again, as you're mentioning, like when it comes to, you know, this whole pole dancing fitness craze that's been going on, you know, a lot of women will see it, and again, as you say, we'll see the booth and we'll say, okay, I'll grab a pamphlet, walk by, and that's it, and never try it. But if you can actually try it,
yes,
and especially, you know, if you're there with your girlfriends, they might kind of egg you on to just to have just kind of a fun moment, right? And just kind of something fun to do.
Exactly.
You know, and then maybe encourage you to go and actually take up some classes sometimes.
Yeah,
right?
and there's going to be a demonstration of the pole dancing in the lounge, so that'll be really fun.
I love it.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Okay, and like what else? What else can as you see as we're walking around?
So I wanted, our colors are teal and hot pink, and so I wanted it to be really, really girly. So you walk in, there's going to be chandeliers. I want it to be really, really high end, so there's going to be waiters serving hors d'oeuvres on trays to all the guests that they come in. They can also go and buy. The Little Gourmet is catering the event, but they're also providing the food service. So it's a totally different idea that hasn't been done before. It's been done in the States, but I haven't seen anybody do it in Canada.
Yeah.
So I was really excited because I saw a hole in the marketplace. Tickets are $10. As you said, there's Christmas shopping.
Yes.
So it's not all about you. You can go in and you can get manicures, and you know, you can get your hair blow dried.
You can actually get your manicure done there.
Yes. And you can get facials done there. Like, that was my dream, was to have something that you can actually experience.
Yeah.
Because like at the other shows that I've been to, you see them and you book appointments to come visit their place of business later. I wanted, it's fun, and girls, you know, when they're together, they're different, and there's a fun atmosphere.
That's right. It brings out, sometimes if you're by yourself and you're in these areas, sometimes you won't even approach the booth, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You just kind of walk by and you're sort of shy. Where this environment, if you're with your girlfriends and it's so casual, and also the fact that people can experience, I'm sure the vendors themselves really enjoy that concept, because then they can actually show what they do, right? So you can walk up and get yourself a manicure at a place maybe you would never have tried in a million years. So they create clients from it. So they almost feel like maybe there's a bit of a better connection with the clientele.
And
right?
you can get like feathers in your hair. all the trendy, the cute things.
I'm sure, like makeup and everything.
Yeah.
So basically, you could just shower and show up, and you could leave and look rockin'.
Exactly, and you can go to the lounge and have some drinks in the lounge. So the lounge Hush nightclub, which is on Hess Street in Hess Village. They're recreating their bar inside of our show. So that's another fun aspect of it. Yeah.
I think licensing the event just makes it more fun. And again, not everybody has to drink, right? But it's just it's a fun approach for people to just have the option of, you know, again, not just going to a show for half an hour, 45 minutes, and then leaving, but making a night of it and hanging out and sitting around, and then maybe walking back around and looking at some more booths, and especially with fashion shows and things like that. So now the event with the dates running, it's November 30th to December 2nd.
Yep.
So it's running for the full weekend. So you're going to have fashion shows throughout the weekend then?
Our lounge doubles as our stage, which is neat because you can kind of rope it off. And so we're going to be having, as I said before, the pole dancing demonstrations there. We're trying to get firefighters to come out and do a walk-off, which would be really fun.
Okay, yeah, totally. Oh, jeez.
So everything happens in our stage, and we're booking up our stage schedule.
Yeah, kind of as you
to make it, and to make it really, really fun and interactive.
Oh, that's so cool. And again, that creates environment and atmosphere too, right? So overall, you're just walking into a fun environment with music and, as you say, color and just lots going on. And obviously, you know, with this being the first year of the show, people, you know, coming and seeing, the show's only going to keep growing and getting bigger and better as people come and start to, you know, share with you as well, kind of what they're looking for, right? So you just want people to come and experience it. And as you're saying, with people also trying to get into that demographic that's a little bit more mid-market versus, you know, I mean, and everybody's welcome, obviously, because everybody's young at heart and, you know, and has their thing. But to come and try, as you say, eyelash extensions, or, you know, everyone looking for a good blow dry. Like, how awesome is that? Men are like, what? But we totally know and understand. So it just, again, is exposing the Golden Horseshoe area, basically, is what your sort of your target market, right?
Yeah, so Ancaster, Hamilton, Oakville, Burlington, Niagara Falls. So the whole Golden Horseshoe. Tickets are $10. You can visit us online at the urbangirlsweekend.ca.
Perfect.
We have a Facebook page, and so we're constantly updating it with all our new acts.
Great, that's smart.
All the new vendors.
Perfect. And so again, reasonable to get in, lots of fun, and actually perfect timing too, being at the end of November, kind of getting people will be totally on board, ready for shopping for Christmas. So it's a great little spot to. I'm sure there will be a fair amount of jewelry, which is what I always tend to go for, right? And all kinds of cool little, just great little things that you can buy and share with yourself and with your friends. So men, welcome too, I'm sure.
But we won't kick you out at the
door. but welcome again. So again, the website is?
urbangirlsweekend.ca.
Perfect. You can go on. And Tara, thank you again so much for coming on. And make sure you do check out the show. Again, it's always good to support our community, and events like this just make our community bigger and better and stronger. And again, makes the show bigger and better every year as well. So.
Yes.
All right, we're going to have more Tara at Home in just a little bit. Please stay with us.
Live color fully at Terra, where color lives.
You've sat under them and built forts in them. You've swung from them and fell out of them. You've even fallen in love under them. Trees have always held a special place in our hearts and memories. A natural beauty, trees will grow with you and your family and bring color and nature into your world. For your assurance of quality, look for trees and shrubs with the Medallion plant tag. Medallion plants, locally grown, the pride of Niagara.
AM 900 CHML is giving you more news when you want it most. Non-stop news weekday mornings 5 till 9, weekday afternoons 3 to 6, with weather and traffic on the 9s. Hear about it first from AM 900 CHML, Hamilton's news talk leader.
Welcome back to Tara at Home. We're in downtown Burlington at Foot Tools. I'm here with Paula Desjardins and you are the president, owner. How long has this store been here now?
15 years.
Oh, good for you.
15 great years.
Because you guys know your stuff,
I
right?
think we do.
So you're a runner. This is where you come because it gives you all of the, all the tools you need. And really, there's a lot involved. Even though it is a simple thing, you are using what our bodies have given us to be able to run.
Absolutely.
But you want to be prepared. So now we're inside of November. We're talking about running in the winter. And you do not have to go inside to the treadmill.
Absolutely. You can stay out no matter what the weather. And so we prepare you to run outdoors all winter long and have a lot of fun and get that fresh air that you really need.
And that's the thing, was a lot of times we hibernate and you don't get the fresh air and you're in and out of your car so quickly. Sometimes you're not even outside at all, and you really need that, and again, that oxygen in your body is just good, right? All right, so let's talk. Especially in the winter, we have to think of a few more things.
We do.
A few more layers, and I think first it's appropriate to talk about, which I wouldn't have thought about, is warm underwear.
That's right. We call it underwear. And we call it, I like to dress people inside out. So we have the bun toasters and weenie roasters for the men. And the reason why that it's different is the men have the wind panel. It will have the wind panel there. And these are very warm, very fleecy inside.
I love that inside.
Yes. And it's going to keep the big muscle of your glutes warm.
Sure.
So that's great.
That's key.
That's very key. So then we move to, we've got to keep our feet warm. And of course there's all sorts of socks out on the market. And we have the merino wool. If your feet really get cold, the merino wool is a great accessory to have. But if you need to have just an ordinary sock, every company has a great sock. They all wick the sweat away from your feet onto the shoe, and then the air will dry your
Which is good.
your
Because
shoe.
you don't want wet feet, especially if you're
Absolutely.
outside, right?
Absolutely.
Very good.
And then we move on to fun things like keeping our hands warm and our arms warm. And we have a lovely little, and these are great gift sets.
Yes.
It's a great idea for a gift set. So you have the mitts along with the little arm warmer that can be used anytime in the winter, spring, fall, whatever. This will keep your hands.
And that's a great idea to have something that removes like that.
Right.
So you can start off, and then especially a lot of times there are still marathons and there are still all kinds of fun walks and races in the wintertime. So it's good to have that too while you're warming up.
Right. And these come in a variety of colors. So as I said, they make a great gift. Moving on to the hands, what you're going to see here is we have a lot of bright colors. And we have a campaign that we put on every winter called Be Safe, Be Seen. And so all the gloves will have this. This one is particularly by Saucony, and it is VisiPro. And it will keep your hands very warm, but it's bright. And the neat thing is, if you don't want to be seen, so to speak, you can tuck that back up.
You want to be stealth out there.
Right. But this actually is a wind mitt.
Right.
So in other words, that's going to keep the wind off your hands, keep your hands nice and warm.
Gives you another little layer, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But that's great. I mean, I think that campaign is ideal because we are seeing, and we're kind of getting that flashback from the 80s right now anyway in fashion.
Exactly.
But there's a lot of fluorescent colors, but it just makes sense. I think for the most part, you want to be seen so you don't get hit.
That's
right?
That's very true.
Right.
So then we move on to when it gets really cold in the wintertime, we find that especially women, and guys too, they have the Raynaud's syndrome, so where their hands turn very white. So we have a very nice warm mitt, and this is like wearing 3 pairs of gloves.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
very
great.
It's very warm. So as we get into December, January, February, this is a great thing. And we have things too where you can actually take off your mitt, or even and then you can tap with your phone.
Oh, look at, so that's right, because as we know, for people who have iPhones in particular, or any type of flat surface screen,
Exactly.
you can't do it with a glove on.
That's
so
right.
that will enable you to. Oh, I love that.
Isn't that cool?
Very handy.
Yes.
And of course, one thing that makes it worse when you're outside is if you're cold, you just don't have the same gumption to be continuing to run. So
Exactly.
you don't want to cut your exercise short.
Absolutely.
All right, so
Then
moving on.
Moving on to our headwear, because we know we lose most of the heat through our heads. We want to make sure that our heads are covered and they stay warm. So we have the hats, and these are by Polar Tech, and the great thing about these hats, they're very, very warm, very, very fleecy inside.
Nice.
And this one right here is great for the ladies because it has a ponytail hole.
Which is perfect, which means you can pull it down more at the back of your neck. Very
Exactly.
good.
And of course you have your headbands, okay, and different types of toques that will keep, you know, your head warm, your ears warm.
That's right. Sometimes people don't even want a full headgear. They just want to keep their ears warm.
Exactly.
That's all they need.
And then when it's really, really cold, the diehards get out there. They will wear they'll wear a balaclava. They wear a balaclava.
Unbelievable.
So they're going to stay very, very warm. Then, of course, you have your vests. And, you know, all jackets will have 360 reflection anyway. But when you're at nighttime, you want to really be seen and be safe.
That's a good one.
Yeah, you have all sorts of reflective gear.
Well, one thing I know before we run out of time, I do want to show you have two different jackets here
I
that
do.
are interesting. This one is cool because, again, you want to start off with an extra layer. You're getting a little warm.
I'm getting warm. Oh my goodness,
And
I'm
you can
running
still run.
along.
And look at that. So it just, and so you were telling me it's actually magnetized. So when you put
Right.
those sleeves back on, they
It just clip, clip,
stick,
clip.
stick, and that
Right.
is so easy. Again, you want to be able to keep moving, so
That's right.
easy. And this coat here, I love it. This
Yes,
jacket.
this is lovely. So it is a totally waterproof seam-sealed jacket. And the neat thing about this jacket, it's reversible. So this is what the jacket looks like. And ladies can go out for coffee.
Right, so you're not glowing with your friends
Exactly.
after you're having
but
coffee.
if you're out for a run, you
Then
just flip it around and away you go.
Very good.
And then again, as well as the tights. The tights are all reflective. You will be seen. You'll be safe. Tights come in different weights, such as a light tight, a light pant. I'm wearing the pant version right now. And they go as the weather gets colder, you can get warmer tights.
Yeah, exactly. So you
Yeah.
can just sort of adapt. So again,
Exactly.
I mean, and of course, shoes is a whole other story, which we don't even have time to do right now, because that's a whole other program.
Exactly.
But again, of course, what's great about the store is people can come in, even if they've never run before, talk to you guys, and you can,
we will
you'll
fit them up.
Fit them up and suit them up, and out the door you go and get running.
And
right?
Exactly.
Thank you, Paula.
Thank
it's so
you,
nice to
Leslie.
see you, and
Thank
I'm glad
you.
to hear you've been in business as long as you have.
Oh, we have.
Again, this is
Thank
Foot
you.
Tools Downtown Burlington. We'll have more Tara at home after this.
Come and explore the new Terra, where color lives.
You've sat under them and built forts in them. You've swung from them and fell out of them. You've even fallen in love under them. Trees have always held a special place in our hearts and memories. A natural beauty, trees will grow with you and your family and bring color and nature into your world. For your assurance of quality, look for trees and shrubs with the Medallion plant tag. Medallion plants, locally grown, the pride of Niagara.
Welcome back to Tara at Home. Well, officially inside November, we want to eat warm and cozy kind of foods this time of year. A lot of times we get a fair amount of rain in November, so you just want to get a cozy sweater on and have a lamb curry.
Yes.
Chef Rachel in the house today, and so again, fairly straightforward dish.
Yes. Yeah, it's simple, not a whole lot of ingredients. Starting off with some butter. I clarified this butter earlier and then put it in the fridge, so it's kind of in a solid state. I'm just getting it melting now.
But you can tell as you're
see.
melting it, it is very clear.
Yes.
So you're separating the milk solids from the butterfat and the water from the butterfat, right?
Yes.
So kind of keeping that
Exactly. So you're going to get this this clear. You're not going to have a lot of those solids in there. Okay. So basically, what you do is you just start with a chunk of butter, however much you're using, very low heat, and just let it sit. Let it melt on like a low heat until it's completely melted, and then you'll be able to see all the solids on the bottom. It'll form a white part on the bottom. All of the butter fat will come to the top, and then basically from there, see, as you can see in here, there's still a little bit left. It's that white part that's in there. But once it separates, if you slowly bring this up and pour it off, you'll pour out everything except for those solids in the bottom. You can discard that, and then you're left with the clarified butter.
So as you're saying, in Indian food, that's often referred to as ghee. Very common, and this is generally how they would do their butter.
Yes.
Just to remove, again, some of that excess in the butter, so it purifies it a little bit.
Right. Doesn't burn as easily this way.
Okay.
So now it's all melted. We know we have it on medium heat now, and we'll start sautéing soon.
Okay.
But I just want to talk about the lamb. So for a dish like curry that's going to be cooking for a long period of time, this I cook for about an hour and a half or so.
Wow, okay.
But you can cook it for even longer if you like. You can use a cut like shoulder. It's a little tougher, but it's going to cook down and become nice and tender.
Yeah, because you're doing a slow cooking process, it is going to break down.
Yeah, so shoulder's a good cut to use. Leg, whichever's easiest for you to get. Well, we talked about the lamb. I'm just going to put the onion in here. So this is just a Spanish onion that I've chopped up. So I'm going to put that in there and kind of sweat that.
That's good. Okay.
Okay.
And
Quite hot,
I think
so-
what's great about curries is, I mean, obviously, it's almost an appreciation for Indian food and the process that goes into it, because they often like dry roast all of their seeds and everything, and then they pestle and mortar them and mortar and pestle, and really just break it all down. And it's such a long process. So we're doing a nice shortcut version, right?
Yeah. So here now we've cut the lamb into nice bite-sized chunks. Okay, and we're just going to marinate it. I left a couple here just to show you. The size, how small you cut them, but again, personal preference. Put that in with a little bit of lemon juice, and I chopped up some garlic and also some ginger. And I just used my my microplane for the ginger, but again, you can chop that up as well, and just mix it up. And you only need to let that marinate for about 10 or 15 minutes or so.
That's it. Okay.
Yeah, not very long. So we have that in there, and that's been done. So that's basically ready to go. Now we can turn this down to a low heat, but we've got the onions in there and the clarified butter, and then at this time we can add in the curry powder.
Okay.
And just kind of toast that.
So you're just using a mild yellow curry, right?
Yeah.
And again, there are lots of different curries to choose. You can get spicy with this. Obviously, you don't have to use lamb. You can use just vegetables if you're a vegetarian.
Sure.
Or you can use chicken or pork, or
Right. There are so many different options.
So,
yeah. But
nice.
this is kind of the base of the recipe: the curry powder, the onions, and tomatoes. And there's not much.
And it's actually really quite healthy. It's really good for you. I'm sure, yes, there is butter in there, but again, when you're using some of these old ancient spices, and you're really getting it, this is really the good stuff that we should have in our diet, and particularly this time of year, it's very warming. So it's good.
Yeah.
And tomatoes.
And that smell is
It's good.
it's wonderful.
Love it.
So at this time, we can add in the lamb, and we just want to sweat the lamb. So we want to cook it on a low heat. Don't really need to worry about browning or getting too much color, because again, it's going to be in there for a long period of time. Get all
really
that garlic and ginger in there with it. So we'll just
so you can pour all the juices from the marinade in there if you want. Okay.
yeah. There's not really a lot of lemon juice that you
right.
put in there, so it kind of just soaks it up anyways. Okay, so we'll coat that and get that toasting.
So as you're mentioning, a very straightforward recipe, but again, it's the cooking time. So it's, just slowing it down and letting it just really get soft, so that the meat just basically breaks apart when you eat it, right?
Yeah, that's the main part.
Are we making naan bread? Kidding, we should. Yum. That's a good accompaniment, isn't it?
It is a very good accompaniment.
Yeah, but you can actually even buy naan bread now at the store. You can buy it in the grocery store.
They do have special
Skip the steps.
like special ovens that they use to cook the naan bread
Yes,
in,
they
I believe.
do.
So these Indian restaurants do it do it the best. So sometimes
do.
I'll just sneak over to the.
That's what I was just
to
going
the
to say.
store
That's what
and
I do too. I go and pick it up at
Get a side
the
order.
restaurant and get just a bunch of bread and then make your own curry at home.
Okay, so this is starting to cook a little bit, covered in the curry powder, and you can adjust the amount of curry powder based on your taste. This is quite a bit. And then tomatoes, so about half a can. I like to use the diced tomatoes. I like to have a little bit of chunk in there. So
The tomatoes are nice because it breaks up the curry flavor a little bit too, right? So you're going to get some of the acid from the tomatoes, and that's just going to be kind of a nice texture, and again, that's obviously really good for you.
right. So we've got the tomatoes in there. Mix it up well, and then I have a little bit of water at the side there, and sometimes I just add in a little bit of that.
Okay.
You just kind of want to adjust the consistency of it as the cooking time goes on, because you don't want it to be too dry, right?
Okay,
You
so
also
you
don't
kind of
want
have to
be-
watch it.
Yes.
Okay.
Every once in a while, just
Yep.
have a look and add more water if necessary. You don't want it to be too soupy either.
Sure.
So you just kind of use your own judgment. You want to be able to use that naan bread to get up all the juice and everything in
okay.
there.
So what we'll do is we'll let this cook, and obviously, in a couple of minutes it won't be cooked, but we'll come back and we'll show you the cooked version, and we'll prepare it for you. We'll be right back.
Live color fully at Terra, where color lives.
You've sat under them and built forts in them. You've swung from them and fell out of them. You've even fallen in love under them. Trees have always held a special place in our hearts and memories. A natural beauty, trees will grow with you and your family and bring color and nature into your world. For your assurance of quality, look for trees and shrubs with the Medallion plant tag. Medallion plants, locally grown, the pride of Niagara.
Welcome back to Tara at Home in the kitchen, making lamb curry with Chef Rachel. And so we'll pretend an hour and a half went by,
Yes.
and the meat is all tenderized, and it's become a perfectly great consistency and ready to eat.
Yeah, so you can see it kind of gets dark, it gets a little thick. And yes, about an hour and a half or so on like a medium to low simmer.
Right.
Stir it every once in a while. Like I said, make sure the consistency is good. I think this is really nice, but add some more water if you need to.
And all the flavors have now congealed. Everything's come together. A great accompaniment, rice, obviously, right? And when you're eating Indian food, a rice is a really nice side.
Yeah,
right?
rice, or like we said, the bread, anything that will kind of soak up all that extra sauce will go great with this.
Yeah, and again, it helps to break up the flavor too, to have that side carb, right? Because this is a whole lot of protein, but it's again perfect for a cold sort of November day, and it makes your house smell really good.
A little bit of spice in there, like with the ginger, kind of gives it a little bit of a kick. And I actually chopped up the ginger when I did this one, so it's kind of big pieces, and even the curry powder gives it a little bit of a kick, which is nice.
And ginger is so good for you. I mean, they really do tell you to have a lot of ginger, particularly in the winter, because it helps with your immune system. So this is a perfect thing to have.
Yeah, and if you have some herbs at home, and top it off with a little bit of mint, will give it a nice contrasting flavor. If you want to try that out.
Right, and a lot of times in Indian food they make raita as well, which is like almost like a cool sort of cucumber type of, and again it helps break up the sauce, right? Just to kind of cool it off a little bit on your palate, depending on how spicy you make it. So good. All right, so again, just a reminder, these dishes can be found in all the recipes on our website, terragreenhouses.com, and this looks really yummy, and I can't wait to have it. Thanks so much, Chef Rachel.
Thank you.
All right, as we move through November, we're going to have more cozy dishes, so stay tuned every Saturday morning.